If you didn't know, there is still money available in the EIDL Grant Program. You can get up to $15,000 still right now for your small business, and you don't have to pay it back. That's $15,000 that you don't have to pay back. Now, if you weren't aware of that, we're going to go through the qualifications, what you need to do to apply, but I also want to start with the actual numbers that are currently being released by the SBA, just so you can get an idea of how much more money, because there's a lot more money available in the EIDL programs. So here, I'm going to pull up this report right here. This is the July 1st report from the SBA on the EIDL programs. And I'm just going to go right down to the two that you can apply for. I wanted to take a second to thank our sponsor of this video and several other of our videos, The Coldest Water. This is one of their bottles, the Coldest Water bottle. I'll leave a link in the description at the bottom. Go ahead and buy yourself a bottle, support the channel, and thank you to The Coldest Water. And that's going to be the Targeted EIDL Advance and also the Supplemental. Now, right here at the very top, we can see that 251,594 right there have been Targeted Advance funded. So that's already funded EIDL advances for the Targeted EIDL Advance program, which totals only just over $2 billion. And you can see all the breakdowns on the states. And then if we flip over or go down to the supplemental, something similar, still a lot more money. Only 169,704 have been approved and funded, and less than 1 billion, only 848,520,000 has been funded from the supplemental program. So the targeted program can go up to $10,000, where the supplemental can go up to $5,000. So those two programs, the first one, the targeted, was funded with up to $25 billion, or funded with $25 billion, and the supplemental was $5 billion. So that's $30 billion, but look at these numbers. They're just not, a lot of this money is still there. $2 billion and less than $1 billion. So there's still plenty of money in both of these programs, but you want to make sure that you can qualify. Now, the SBA has been, and the government in general, has been pretty open and adamant that you should apply. Apply with accurate information, take your information, put it on the application, let them make the decision of whether or not you would qualify for this money. So if there's a question if whether or not you have had a downturn in your business, or whether or not you live in a certain area, it has to be a low income area, don't even think about it. Just go ahead and apply, put in the correct information, and let the SBA make that determination of whether or not you qualify. Now, that's what they're saying. That's not what I'm saying. I agree with it, but you just want to make sure that your information is accurate. Now, there's been a ton of information out there that says there's a ton of fraud out there that they're going after. And if that's making you feel uneasy, but you have a legitimate business, go ahead and apply for this stuff, especially if you're struggling. That's what it's for. So if you're a struggling small business owner, you're trying to make ends meet, you're trying to stay afloat, then go ahead and apply and get the money. And even if it takes a while, just be patient. It's picking up speed. So if we look back to the previous report on 6/24, we could see that's a huge jump. It went from 193,000 to over 250,000 approved applications for the targeted, and the dollar amount went from just under 1.6 billion to that to just over, almost just under, I guess, 2.1 billion. So it is picking up speed. I know there's been a lot of snafus. I've seen it all out there. The people have applied, haven't been able to get the money, they've been denied. And if you qualify, then go after and make sure you're getting it. So go after it, get it. Let's go look at the qualifications really quickly. Now, again, I'm going to go over the qualifications, but still apply if you think you're close. If you think that you're close to this, get your application in. And let's say you get denied, the SBA might come out and say, hey, we're going to put this application aside. Who knows what's going to happen in the future? And if your application is already in, they already have it, they already have that information. It's also letting them know that you're interested, even though you might be very close or not necessarily qualify under these parameters. But at least it tells the SBA there's a group of people out there that still need assistance if you don't meet these qualifications. So for the targeted EIDL, you have to be in a low-income community. And the mapping tool is pretty straightforward. It's actually pretty good because I didn't see this right when they rolled out the targeted program. But if you go to the map, you can basically let it load and you can see the areas, all the purple areas, and see if your business is located there. Now, there is a massive backdraw to this that I'm sure you're aware of, especially if you're not in one of these low-income areas, is that what if you don't live in a low-income area, but your business is actually in or serves a low-income area? What if your business address is your home and you're not in that low-income area? Then unfortunately, you don't qualify for these parameters. But again, maybe that opens up later on. So go ahead, apply, get your numbers in, even if you don't meet the geographical area, because it doesn't take a whole lot of time in order to do this, and you don't really know what's gonna come up down the road. Now, that's just speculation on my part to say that you should apply even if you know you don't qualify based on the low income area or even based on your numbers. But the whole basis of applying is to let the SBA know where you're standing and that you would like some assistance or would like that free grant money. Obviously, everyone wants free money, but give them accurate information. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with going in and putting in your actual information, knowing that it gets denied, but again, let the SBA know what's going on with you if you need the actual dollars. Let's go back to that for a second, and we can see that the target is at 30% reduction in your revenue. So revenue is the amount of money that's coming into your business. So it's not the net, which would be after expenses. It's what we call that top line number. So you want to take a look at the reduction in your revenue. When you're filling out the application, it will do the math for you. So if you're not comfortable with numbers and you're concerned that you're not doing the math right, don't even worry about it. Put the numbers in, let the system decide whether or not you qualify. You have to have 300 or fewer employees and are in a low income community. And that's the general gist of the Targeted EIDL Advance. Now, if you got the original EIDL and you actually got the full amount of the $10,000, which was more on the rare side, then you can't get the Targeted EIDL, but still apply because you could also be eligible for the supplemental. And all the EIDL programs for the grant programs can be up to a total of $15,000. So the supplemental targeted is that additional $5,000, again, located in a low-income community. And this has another tier to it, and that's up to 50% economic or a 50% or greater economic loss. So in any 8-week period beginning on March 2nd, 2020. So again, they're doing that comparison thing. They're gonna be able to figure it out because when you fill out this application, you're gonna have to give them your month-by-month numbers or your revenue numbers to prove or to show that you had a downturn in your business. And in this one, has fewer than 10 or fewer employees. So this is even another tier to get those micro businesses in low-income communities. So that is a total of up to $15,000. Now let's go back to those numbers really quick because it's kind of interesting. If we look back at these, the averages that we're seeing here, and I just did the math before. So the targeted was an average of, not on this one, it was the original report. Let me go ahead and pull that back up. It's right over here. And we're going down to the targeted EIDL. So the average one for the targeted EIDL was $8,300. And what's interesting about that is that's going to be the difference. You can assume that these businesses, for the most part, probably yourself included, got something from the original EIDL. And if you did, it's the difference between whatever you received and up to $10,000 for the targeted. Now, the supplemental, interestingly, when I did the math, the $848,520,000, if we divide that by the $169,704, it's exactly $5,000. So it's basically saying, like, if you qualify for the supplemental, you're going to get $5,000 because there's no mathematical way to get any less than the $5,000. So the other two programs, the original EIDLs, were up to $10,000 kind of combined. You know, originally they rolled it out and said everyone was going to get 10. They obviously didn't do that. It was $1,000 per employee up to $10,000. And so obviously that didn't occur. And if you got, say, like $2,000 and you applied and qualified for the targeted, then they would give you the difference or up to the difference. And now you can get an additional $5,000. So in a nutshell, up to $15,000 on these two programs from the EIDL programs. Now, let me know in the comments down below if you're struggling to get your application approved or if there's something unique about your situation, just so I can dig in and figure out why other small businesses haven't already received this money. Because I have seen a lot of small businesses that have already gone out and made sure that they're already getting all of this funding. So if your small business is still struggling but hasn't figured out how to get additional funding, let me know in the comments down below. But just a quick update on the EIDL program, there's still more support out there. So if you can, apply for it. Don't let your business fold. And let me know in the comments down below if this has helped and what else you need help with the EIDL grant programs. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe and leave your comments down at the bottom.